Welcome to this episode of the Faster Than Lightspeed podcast. I'm your Captain Kenny with my XO.
Joey.
Joey, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Just had my last day of high school.
TMI.
What? What's up with that? That's cool.
So, let's go over...
I had, so many cupcakes today. That's
What
cool.
the heck?
So many people had so many cupcakes to celebrate.
Cupcakes?
Yeah, cupcakes.
I don't remember cupcakes when I graduated high school.
Senior study hall just had so many cupcakes. And people were just like, I got these cupcakes from senior study hall and I got you one. I'm like, thanks. They must have had to bring so many cupcakes because I'm sure we all had 5, per student.
Wow.
It was crazy. People that weren't even seniors were getting cupcakes.
That's weird.
Maybe they should have ID'd people for cupcakes.
ID'd them. What the hell?
Yeah.
Let's go over... What's our episode overview? Let's check that out. So, in this episode, we are going to do kind of this sort of retrospective into Star Wars lore. And we're going to dive deep into the events that led to the fall of the Galactic Republic. Kind of in tune with Bad Batch that's been going on, right? And the end of Clone Wars was last year, but everybody loves Clone Wars. But yeah, this is kind of
I like Rebels more, but we'll get into that. This
is our resume for our Star Wars knowledge, because I was saying this before. I've been a little worried that we're turning into a Star Trek podcast.
Yeah, we're limiting.
Don't fidget.
All right, cut all that out. Okay, go start again.
Things.
We're worried that we're going to start into a Star Trek podcast.
Yeah.
So we're doing something Star Wars related.
Right. This is our Star Wars resume. Okay. Well. We'll go into our first... So before our main topic, we'll go into important news. So, Joey, you're our... What's the news?
Basically, not really big things. People are getting hyped for E3, speculations, but...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Halo stuff.
Yeah. But, ultimately, I stopped paying attention to that sort of stuff because I just...
Well, then what are you doing here?
No. But then I got the news that I want to talk to you about is new Shazam suit. Have you seen it?
A new suit for Shazam? I haven't seen it.
It's a pretty good looking suit. I think I loved Shazam, but I feel like the main problem was the suit. It was just kind of plain, kind of plain and bland. So
I remember it being an okay suit.
Yeah, but you could have done more, and they have made big
could you
steps
have
to
though?
improve it.
How could you have done more while being truthful to the source material?
It's pretty good. Look up the picture of the new suit. You have a computer in front of you. You can look it up.
Why didn't you should have put a link in?
But then I wouldn't be able to surprise you with
Google
the news.
Dumb stuff.
I want to get your initial reactions.
Google stinking Shazam suit.
Yeah, Shazam 2 suit. You're gonna say it looks the same. It's not the same.
I like the old one better.
Really?
Yeah.
I disagree. I also like the new belt. The new belt is better.
I like the old one better.
Whatever. Shazam, great movie. We could probably do a whole podcast talking about Shazam.
I don't think so.
Or just the DCEU, and then I would just only talk about Shazam. Because that is the best movie in the DC universe right now.
Arguable. We still haven't seen the Snyder Cut, so that's something we have to do.
That's true.
Okay. Yeah, any other news before we get into the main topic?
That's it. That's it.
Okay. It seemed like you were going to say something else. So, yeah, we're going to...
I got something.
Oh, my gosh.
I just remembered this. Avengers Campus opened at Disneyland.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So...
Spider-Man ride is fully open.
Spider-Man ride.
So they got Tom Holland. Actually, on a screen.
Okay. On a screen. What does that mean?
Not an animatronic.
Right, what are you saying? I thought you were going to say he showed up for the opening, how they got George Lucas and Harrison Ford.
They got, Anthony Mackie and then... I think Jon Favreau, and that's it.
Okay, well, yeah, because you made it sound like how they did Galaxy's Edge when they got Harrison Ford. They got
George
all
Lucas,
the original cast, plus George Lucas.
No, it's just no, not nearly as impressive of what I saw as Galaxy's Edge. It's a lot smaller.
Okay. Just
thought it was interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's something I'd be cool to visit at some point, but I don't know. Does it seem more like because it was... So we've been to Disneyland twice.
Yeah.
Right? because that was taking the place of like a sort of kids area. Is it the same sort of thing where it's a kids? It's still kind of considered a kids area, or is it more of an adult themed thing?
I'm telling you, from what I saw, it's if you go there and you expect Galaxy's Edge level depth,
like immersion.
Yeah, it's not that.
Okay.
So I would say it's more kid stuff. I would say.
Okay.
Don't expect any loops or flips or anything.
Loops or you mean like roller coasters?
Yeah.
I don't expect loops or flips.
What do you mean? That's okay.
Any other news? Anything else? All right. We'll get into the topic. So yeah, like we said, we're gonna do this sort of retrospective of Star Wars lore, specifically what I think is considered the prequel era. I call it the time of the Republic. I think it's been considered that as well. So Joey, where would you say you should start in terms of this? Like, if you were to pick a time?
Phantom Menace.
Well, you're wrong.
What?
You're wrong.
Truth is, the game was rigged from the start.
So first, before Phantom Menace, we're gonna start even before the movies. So, what would you say before Phantom Menace? What's the role of the Jedi Order in terms of the Galactic Republic? What do they do?
They're peacekeepers.
Right.
Very separate from the Republic itself.
Oh, I would argue the complete opposite of that. That
Whoa.
they are that they're almost a sort of branch of the Republic that conduct military and diplomatic missions for them.
Really?
Yeah, because I mentioned Master and Apprentice. I think I mentioned that in one of our previous episodes and not in the test episodes that we had. But in there, it's a lot of, you know how like I'm gonna have to reference Star Trek in the terms of how Starfleet inducts like worlds into the Federation, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Jedi do that in there.
We can't talk about Star Trek. The
I
views
know,
are going down.
we can't
The views
do
are going
it.
down. Nobody liked our last episode. Nobody listened to it.
Not many people listen to it.
So sorry, viewers. All right, go on.
But yeah, you say that they're very separate. I think by this point that we're talking about in High Republic, we haven't read any High Republic stuff. But that's something I'd like to do an episode once I get the chance. Once I finish Dune and I can read more Star Wars stuff again.
Maybe I should read it first.
Read High Republic? You don't read that many books.
Hey, I'll read books when I'm at college, maybe.
Yeah.
When I first got into high school, I was reading Star Wars books.
Okay.
Maybe it'll go full. I can't speak today. I'm so sorry. Full circle, and when I start college, I'll read a book.
Maybe. But I think by this point that we're talking about, by the time of Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi, I would say the Jedi Order has taken the turn where they are really ingrained into the Republic's structure. Like, there's also the description of Count Dooku, when Count Dooku takes Qui-Gon as his apprentice, they're like conducting military operations for the Republic against whatever factions on planets. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the state of the Jedi by the time that we're talking about. I would say the first actual event, alright, would be when Dooku leaves the Jedi Order. Do you disagree?
I think the true fall of the Republic starts when Qui-Gon saves Jar Jar Binks.
Well, okay.
Because he was the one that was dumb enough
well,
to get the power through the Emperor.
But Dooku, right? He leaves the Jedi Order. He becomes Count of Sereno, his home. I think I was reading that because I think it was in I forget if it was in Tarkin or if it was in some other, or if it was in, I think it was Jedi Lost or something like that. But Dooku leaves because he thinks the Jedi are too ingrained in the politics, which I agree with. I agree that they kind of do.
It is true.
It's true.
That is literally the point of the prequels.
Right. He goes back home and kind of overthrows, or he takes his brother's place as the count of that planet. And he's rich. Right? He's rich and is able to fund these things. And at some point, he is... What would you say? He is approached by Sidious, right? And becomes the apprentice of the dark side.
He becomes Darth Tyrannus.
He becomes Darth
apparently
Tyrannus.
no one knew that name until like the lost episodes of Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Right. Well, yeah. So in that time, somewhere in that time frame between him leaving the Order and Phantom Menace, right? The blockade of Naboo. He works with Sidious, and he orchestrates the death of Jedi Master Sifo Dyas. Everybody's favorite Jedi that we've never seen before, and was dead.
They mention him in Attack of the Clones,
right? They mention him in Attack of the Clones, and you see like a couple visions of him in Clone Wars.
They should have brought,
I think
in the Rise of Skywalker when Rey is like getting all these voices. Maybe the one voice that should have like woken her up would have been Sifo Dyas saying,
Sifo Dyas.
I made the clones, and I can
No, he didn't though. He didn't, because Dooku killed him and then just impersonated him, or he kind of told the Kaminoans, like, if they ask like who ordered the stinking clones, tell them it was Sifo Dyas, because nobody knows what happened to him.
Technically, yes, you're right.
Right.
But I was making a joke. You didn't need to fact check my joke. I knew that was true because I had seen Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
We're trying to be accurate.
Yeah. This is our resume, as you said.
So, yeah, he organizes the creation of the Clone Army, right, as a part of Sidious's plot. I think Sidious's plot is pretty dependent on the Clone Army, wouldn't you say?
Why? I don't think so. Explain to me why you think so.
Well, I'm sure we'll get
I'm just going to be asking, why do you think so? I'm just starting to pressure you.
The next event, you mentioned it, would be the blockade of Naboo by the Trade Federation.
Okay. I also want to point out, I said Jar Jar Binks, but also R2-D2 also caused the fall, because if he would have let that
R2
yes, because R2-D2 was the reason why they escaped Naboo. If for some reason they didn't escape with Naboo to go to Tatooine, they would have never met Anakin.
Do you think Anakin was really a dependent part of Sidious's plot, though? I don't really think so.
No, and I also disagree that Sidious is Anakin's father. I think it's Plagueis. They never fully said, but I think it's more Plagueis.
I just don't know.
I don't think it's Sidious. I know some people say Sidious is Anakin's father, but that's
it's alluded to and stuff, and he has visions of. It's not even necessarily Sidious is his father. It's that Sidious was able to manipulate the Force somehow to have someone conceived by the Force.
I still think even that is Plagueis is still the father.
I don't know.
It's all just a theory, a Star Wars theory.
Oh my gosh.
You can cut out that bit.
But yeah, so a part of this was the discovery of Anakin Skywalker and the death of Qui-Gon Jinn. Right?
Yes.
So,
as Dave Filoni said, that if Qui-Gon dies, Anakin had to look for a new father figure. That father figure could not be Obi-Wan, because he always thought of Obi-Wan more as
like brothers.
As a brother.
Yeah. That was that whole speech that Dave Filoni gives in that, what was it, Disney Galleries?
Yes.
Mandalorian. That was,
yes.
I want to say it was episode 2 or 3 of that.
Yes. I don't remember who said this, but there was one thing where apparently in like Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, Obi-Wan really didn't like Anakin, and I think that's wrong.
I don't know. In Attack of the Clones, it almost seems like that.
Is this just another creature that we've picked up? Kind of just dismissing Anakin?
Well, that's how brothers are, right?
Yeah.
You're a creature to me.
Yeah, right? I'm a little goblin. I'm a little cupcake goblin.
I think he calls him a useless life form.
Yeah.
Like that.
Have you picked up another useless life form?
So yeah, brothers.
Yeah.
And there's also in here there's also the election of Palpatine as Supreme Chancellor, which is like a pretty important part of his plot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, that's like the beginning of like, all right, I can start making the big moves now, right?
Mm-hmm.
After he gets that position. Then I guess there would be the foundation of the Confederacy of Independent Systems. So that's Count Dooku creating the Separatist movement. And at its heads with funding by the corporations, right? By Trade Federation, Techno Union, were the other ones? Corporate Alliance, I think, was one.
Yeah, the money people.
But yeah, just all those corporations that... It's weird to me that... Because in Clone Wars, at some point, you see the Separatist Senate or Congress or whatever they call it. And in there they say, unlike the Republic, corporations do not rule us. But literally your entire army is run by the corporations.
Sure.
Like, you see them meeting in Attack of the Clones of... It's just all corporate leaders. Like, yeah, we'll give you our armies. We'll fund whatever. And the end, and when in Revenge of the Sith, when Sidious says to go kill the Separatist leaders, it's all those guys again.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. It's those guys. So I don't know what those guys were thinking. But even still, do you think the Confederacy, those systems, say the good systems, so like a Raxus or a Onderon, do you think they were entirely at fault? Or did they have the right idea?
Oh, absolutely not.
No?
No. Like, I think without Sidious, the Fall Republic may have not happened for a lot longer time.
Yeah.
But
I'm saying, do you think the Republic before Sidious was corrupt?
the Republic?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So you still don't think the Separatists should have
No,
done what
I'm
they
agreeing
did?
with you that they had right to leave.
Okay.
Yes. And also I like how the Separatist planets are all more aliens and stuff.
Well, yeah.
Because, you know, I
in.
always scream, bring aliens back to, like, Star Wars or, like, Star Trek. There's not enough aliens. I'll say in animated Star Wars, we see that. But, like, live action, we need more.
Well, live action, it becomes expensive.
Just make Poe Dameron a fun alien.
Expensive. It's always expensive to have a main cast member be an alien.
But
Because you have to pay for either cosmetic stuff, or you have to do CGI, some weird CGI, or need a puppet. And it's always money.
No, Disney has those bucks. You can...
I'm not saying that they
that
can't
stuff.
afford it, but any money just means more difficulty. When I say money, it means difficulty and annoyances.
Yeah, but you can make some good makeup and, like...
And I don't know if
how...
actors like to be aliens. I think a lot of actors are like, keep me out of that.
Think of Dargo. Like, he was a cool alien.
Dargo Farscape?
Yes.
Yeah, and I bet that costume was absolutely terrible to put on. All those tentacles and garbage.
Yeah, just have
absolutely terrible.
Have cool aliens. Bring aliens back, okay? They miss on so many opportunities. Like, there's no reason for that to be. Like, you probably need to have one main human female and one main human male. The rest, make them aliens. All right, and also, like, back to my original thing before I got deviated, where I liked how they were aliens. Then that kind of explains why maybe the Empire is more racist towards aliens.
Well, yeah, so we'll get into that a bit, but...
What?
But, yeah.
You're stealing my bit?
Well, I'm just saying that... I've got that in our Clone Wars section. But, yeah, what you're saying is that the Separatists were primarily aliens, which in Lost Stars, they kind of explain that that's why the Empire is considered xenophobic, is because aliens are associated with the Separatists. Same with droids. That's why in A New Hope, that's why the droids weren't allowed in the cantina, because there was still anger towards them for the Clone Wars. People had animosity towards droids because they were stomping across the galaxy. And somehow there's never quite that same animosity about clones. Which I don't know. Is there, though? Is there the same sort of... I don't know.
Nobody really talks about the clones.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess the clones die
They're all
real
old.
fast. Yeah. Except Rex, who lives like 100 stinking years.
Yeah.
I don't really get that.
I am not a fan of the idea that people retcons him into Endor, which is canon, I guess. He was there.
Yeah.
They say that at the end of the Rebels, which is he was fought at the Battle of Endor.
Somehow, I don't know how Rex lives to be 1,000,000 years old like that.
I mean, it's not 1,000,000 years.
But it's like they're supposed to live like half a lifetime. And
He's
there's like people who, there's like Hera, who's like a kid during the Clone Wars, wasn't she? Or like
Probably.
Kanan, who's a kid during the Clone Wars, and he's would have been like a full adult by the Civil War. I don't know. But in also that, the emergency powers are granted to Supreme Chancellor Palpatine. So that's kind of the next step towards him gaining more power, gaining his ultimate power. And who grants him those emergency powers?
Jar Jar Binks.
There you go. So that comes into what you were saying.
Do you think
before.
George? I don't really blame Jar Jar for that though.
He was totally manipulated into that. Like, there was the scene where Palpatine and what was it, Masameda were saying like, if only somebody was brave enough to grant emergency powers to me.
I think
Jar Jar's there like, maybe that's a good idea. Like he was like clay, and they just molded him.
Yeah,
into,
I don't really blame Jar Jar. For that.
Do you think? But that also leads me to think that did they almost maneuver the assassination attempts on Amidala to get her away because they knew Jar Jar would be dumb enough to give him emergency powers? That's something I've always been curious about.
I don't know.
Is there any weight to that? Would you say? Yeah.
Because Jar Jar's an idiot. I do want Jar Jar to come back though. Do you remember me saying that I want Jar Jar to show up in Rogue One?
In Rogue One?
Yeah, I want him to show up in Rogue One.
But Rogue One already happened. He didn't.
I know, but I'm saying before Rogue One released, I wanted him to be in there.
That was like a million years ago, that movie.
I know, but do you remember me saying that?
I don't remember you saying that.
Really?
Really?
I was like, I want on the ground of Scarif there to be Jar Jar. He's on the battlefield.
That's why we're recording this podcast, so I don't have to remember what you said 10 years ago, 8 years ago. Okay.
Yeah, like 5 years ago I said that.
Yeah.
Or like we got like Alderaan, they have all those people. Just have Jar Jar Binks there. Just like, guys, I made a mistake.
No, people hate him because in Aftermath, you kind of find out his fate in the second Aftermath book. And he's like some clown that just like falls in, that does pratfalls on Naboo somewhere.
I made this point before. How did Kanan's master die?
I'm just saying that's the fate that we currently know of him. Of course that can change. Of course it can change.
The book is like, look, the books are like, all right, look, this is canon. This is canon until we say otherwise.
Yeah, that's true.
Like that is, we can just take away.
I would also say that about the shows as well, though.
I would say probably the only books that are canon from those are maybe the Tarkin stuff.
I haven't read Tarkin though.
I'm not Tarkin. Thrawn.
Thrawn, sure. Okay.
I can't think of any other book or comic. Maybe not even the Ahsoka. Darth Maul, maybe.
The Darth Maul book. The only Darth Maul comic book was like before Phantom Menace, though, as well.
Oh, never mind then. I thought, what was the thing that showed Darth Maul getting out of jail? What was that?
Oh, that was, you're talking about that Dark Horse comic book. Yeah, that was based off the Clone Wars episodes that weren't released.
I think that might.
Yeah, those might be. Yeah.
I think those are like the true, like, these will not change.
Sure. Yeah, I can get that. We didn't really talk about early Darth Maul. I've got him for later. He doesn't really do much beforehand. I guess we said Qui-Gon Jinn died. That's it. That's his big play in terms of the Revenge of the Sith, right?
I don't think Sidious has much. Like, I bet Sidious was like, okay, I'm going to train you in fighting just for you to die.
Yeah, that's totally what he did.
Yeah.
While Dooku was his political asset, he was his assassin asset.
Yes. I think Sidious was like, all right, this is my apprentice, is Count Dooku. Sure. Until he discovered, you know what, Anakin is better.
He chose an old apprentice.
Yeah, he did.
Like, Maul was young, right? Maul like made sense in terms of age and, youth ability. Do you think,
sorry, I'm going off track, but do you think Count Dooku would have betrayed the Emperor?
I think he already wasn't he?
Was he?
Yeah, so, I mean, we might as well get into the Clone Wars, right?
Yeah, well, that's just the next step.
Yeah, so we'll get into the Clone Wars. Because you're talking about Dooku's stuff in the Clone Wars. And yeah, he for sure was... That's the whole point of Asajj Ventress, almost. Like I always say, all these, like the Sith in all these, right, are always about, okay, I'm the apprentice, okay? And I need my own apprentice to take out my master. That's not what it is, though. So, oh yeah, all these Sith apprentices, because the whole point of the Sith, the rule of two, is that the apprentice kills the master and takes his place, right? And these Sith understand that. They're like, yeah, I'll kill the master. But they all try to do it with their own apprentices. So like Dooku does it with Ventress, Maul does it with his brother Savage, and even Darth Vader's like, I'll do it with Luke. But really only Kylo Ren really does it, right? With kind of on his own. I guess he uses Rey as like bait.
I mean, the Emperor wanted Rey just to kill him for a bit, and
well, yeah. But I'm talking about like actual apprentices.
What if like Count Dooku had Asajj Ventress as his apprentice, right? And Asajj Ventress kills the Emperor. Wouldn't Asajj Ventress get all the knowledge of the Emperor?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Count Dooku's like, oh, why didn't I get that?
Oh
They'd be like, I guess, am I gonna have to kill you too? Like, what would happen? That would be such a weird conversation.
Right. I think that's also part of the reason why those guys never would win, because they try to get their own apprentices to help them win those fights.
Yeah.
Instead of actually reaching the point where they can just kill their master.
Yeah.
I think that's a big downfall of these Sith in particular.
Yeah.
As opposed to Kylo Ren, who's really cool and does it pretty much on his own. Yeah.
That's politics.
That's what?
That's politics. We've talked about this. You can't
I can't talk about
You can't compliment The Last Jedi.
So let's get into the Clone Wars. We can't talk about The Last Jedi, we'll get into the Clone Wars. So the Grand Army of the Republic is created with the Jedi as its leaders. And with war gives it the opportunity to spread across the galaxy, right? So the Jedi become generals. They shouldn't have.
Absolutely not.
I don't know if you're disagreeing with me or agreeing with me.
I'm agreeing with you.
Okay, well when I say a thing and you're like absolutely not, then
Absolutely
that sounds like you're disagreeing with me.
I mean, like, the Jedi, I think, do have some part in war, but generals?
Yeah, I think it's to the point where you need your Yolorans and those types. And they can be the generals, and the Jedi can be. What type of role should they have taken? That would have been
just more isolated, kind of more separate. They more so tackle Sith stuff instead of just leading literal battles.
Sure.
Like, Jedi shouldn't go try to take on a hologram bridge.
Okay.
And just as a weird example.
I don't know.
Just all these like sort of stuff is like, there's no Sith involvement there.
Sure. You're saying like they shouldn't have been involved in like the Battle of Ryloth, for example.
Yes. Maybe they should have been like Night Sister stuff.
Okay.
Fighting them.
Only where dark side of the Force is involved.
Yes.
Because you're saying, I guess, I don't know, because you could argue that the whole separatist threat is dark side, since Dooku is at the head of it.
Yeah, but there's other people taking on that. You have to go for more direct.
Right, because it's the point where you could argue, right, that the Jedi, I would say the Jedi should only maybe deal with dark side of the Force issues. They should be weeding out the dark side of the Force from the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to make the argument, are the separatists, do they represent the dark side of the Force? You have to make that argument. Because in one hand, they're just a bunch of systems that feel the Republic is corrupt. On the other hand, their leader is a Sith. It's like a full-blown Sith Lord.
Yeah.
So you have to consider that position, I guess.
I think I need to come out with my views on Star Wars, which is it is impossible to have a large central like Republic or Empire because it's just too big, and people just cannot adapt or stay in one thing at all.
I don't know.
More so,
I think it lets them communicate. But
Ryloth by itself is more important than, say, it being in the Republic. More central, like, individualism in the planets.
We don't really know how the Republic worked, though. For all we know, it's just a place for them to talk and have, like, trade agreement, do trade and stuff. I don't really know. I feel like almost the Clone Wars really took the turn where, like, they had to agree on larger banking decisions.
Yeah.
Like, funding aren't, like, mass armies, right? Because they didn't have an army before the Clone Wars.
No, they didn't.
Right. They just had the Jedi doing stuff, and every planet had their own military.
Mm-hmm.
Or had some sort of guard force. So I think either way, the Jedi, whether they were generals or if they just stayed out of the war, they were kind of screwed. That they were going to be blamed either way and kind of cast out from society. Is there anything you want to talk about in the Clone Wars time frame?
The Blue Shadow Virus, right? Could have been the end of the Republic, right? We all love that episode. Do you remember that episode? Do you remember watching that episode?
Don't like that episode.
Yeah, I like those episodes, though. I just watched them somewhat recently.
We could talk about kind of the foundations of the rebellion.
We can talk about we can talk about Maul.
Yeah, we can talk about Maul. So, Maul, the return of Maul, and the Shadow Collective, right? So Maul is found by his brother Savage, who was a apprentice of Dooku for about 3 days.
Yeah.
We do that a lot. We say this happened for about a day. They go on a rampage trying to build their own power base because Maul knows what's up. He's like, there's not going to be much government currently. The government's going to be totally replaced. He knows what's up. And he goes on a rampage and tries to build a power base with the various crime syndicates. So what does he have? He has Black Sun, the Hutts he gets on. But the Hutts, I think, split off at some point and they become their own thing again. The Pikes. Pikes are a big one now. The Pikes have really been expanded on, haven't they?
Yeah, they've grown. They were in Solo and such.
Right. Yeah. They made what's the other one in Solo?
I don't know.
The one with Paul Bettany's character.
Yeah.
Crimson Dawn.
Crimson Dawn.
That was it, yeah.
Nice.
I didn't even have to look it up. I just remembered. But yeah, Crimson Dawn. But all those. So he makes his power base in the underworld. And then he associates with Death Watch, right? And he takes control of Mandalore. And really, this, like, what he does here really has fallout up to, was it 5 years after Return of the Jedi, even? Where Mandalore's, because really what he does is revert Mandalorian culture to an older way, right?
He's doomed Mandalore.
He kind of was, yeah.
I think, you know what? I take that back. I think he could have saved the Mandalore.
I don't know about that.
Because they were well integrated into the Republic. And by maybe reverting them back.
Maul, I mean, no, because they were considered neutral. And Satine was all about, let's turn our culture into a bunch of pacifists. Let's do a hard 180 with our culture.
I thought they were in the Republic.
No, they were neutral. Yeah, they were their own thing. I'm fairly certain for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
And Satine was all about taking their culture in a 180, going from the warrior religion to a pacifist culture.
And then Darth Maul came in and it's like, time to go back to your old ways.
Oh yeah.
And also
him and Pre Vizsla
also
meet
don't
each other.
Take off your
the two
helmets.
coolest characters in that show meet each other. The two coolest villains. Mm-hmm. Jon Favreau, Sam Witwer, pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
They work together and they orchestrate that revolution, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the Mandalorians become warriors again.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout that whole thing. Obi-Wan loses his sweetheart. And Mandalore gets conquered by the Republic.
I just want to ask yes or no. That's all I want, and then we move on. Because we gotta shorten out these episodes. But do you think we will hear about Satine in the Obi-Wan show? Which is currently filming.
No.
Okay, moving on.
I don't think so. What are the Clone Wars? But yeah, I mean, that whole revolution then leads to Mandalore being conquered. It places clones on Mandalore.
But then they leave.
No, they don't. They don't ever leave. There's no way they ever leave. You don't see them leave.
Yeah, we do in Clone Wars Season 7.
You see a Star Destroyer leave.
We assume that's all they...
No, I'm not assuming that. I'm assuming there were at least 3 Star Destroyers.
I'm assuming then they must have had some other ships come in another time.
You know how we know they don't leave? Because there are stormtroopers on Mandalore in Rebels.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying they come back.
I don't think so. I think the whole point of the Clone Wars, if not like 80% of the point, is about getting the Empire's army on every world without it seeming like they're conquering them. It's as if they're liberating them. But really the clones are being put there so in the future when the Empire clicks, suddenly, oh, our army's already everywhere. You let them in. Or they were under the guise of either fighting enemies there, liberating these planets, or it's just, a legitimate war against not necessarily conquering, but, restoring peace and order.
Okay. Do you think we will learn?
And nobody recognizes this. I don't know.
Do you think we're gonna learn on like this idea whether if they left or not in Mando?
Whether the clones left?
Yeah.
We already know they didn't leave. They just stayed there. It's like the Russians in Berlin, Joey.
Assume, but we saw their starship leave.
We saw a starship leave. There were like 3, weren't there?
I guess.
There were like 3.
It feels
and
weird,
even
right?
if a starship leaves, even if a starship leaves, okay, they can still leave troops on the cities.
Yeah.
There's no way that the entire invasion force was on that ship.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Okay. Moving on.
Foundations of the Rebellion. Planets like Onderon and Ryloth. You see groups like the guerrilla fighters. Saw Gerrera fights in the Clone Wars. Famous. So yeah, Saw Gerrera is in the Clone Wars, and he learns how to fight, like guerrilla fight, from Anakin Skywalker and Captain Rex and Ahsoka. Which kind of ironic, right?
Mm-hmm.
That he trains. Same with Ryloth. Those guys learn to fight the droids. And yeah, I'm sure this happens on countless other worlds. And really, it's the seed. Dave Filoni talked about that. Yeah, these are the seeds of the rebellion. So in a way, this war, the Clone Wars, established the Empire's dominion across the galaxy. But it also sparked the need for these people to develop the skills to fight back, which is ironic.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how you could prevent that besides just killing those resistance cells in the first place.
Yeah.
I guess in Bad Batch we see that they want to take them out
I was just
early.
about to say, good soldiers follow orders, but you stole it from under me. How dare you?
Yeah, in Bad Batch, they were going to try to take them out right away, but it didn't happen.
They came back. It would have been better if they come the first time, though, because then you could have killed Saw Gerrera.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
But they waited.
Right. But with that, I guess you could lead into... This war also accomplishes the part, which is the destruction of any group that could possibly resist the future Empire. So groups like the Corporation's private droid armies, obviously. Geonosis being where they also produced droids, so many droids. And they also just have a good military on their own on Geonosis, right?
Too many bucks.
Yeah, they also make the Death Star, the Geonosians. Umbara. Battle of Umbara, one of the best arcs in the show, I think, if not the best arc.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's always described, those guys have had a primo military. Their fighters and stuff were very advanced compared to the Republic. And it was like purely through strength that the Republic was able to defeat them. Through strength of numbers, I mean to say.
Mm-hmm.
What other groups did they take out before the Republic, or before they turned into the Empire? Like, what would have been a threat? What do you think would have been a threat to the Empire that they took out in Clone Wars?
Mandalore, but they didn't really do that. They just kind of had Maul just do the work for them.
Well, it's kind of the same thing where the clones had to take them out,
Oh, sure.
had to place troops on them. That was kind of my point.
I don't know. I feel like I should know. I feel like I should know an answer to this.
What about? Because you were always about different planets having their own military. What other planets had militaries that were kind of... What about the Mon Calamari?
Yeah,
They were weakened. They were weakened, but they weren't as
if the clones ever
crippled.
go in the water, they're real doomed, aren't they?
Well, you say that as if the Mon Calamari didn't build the entire Rebel Alliance fleet.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean?
You got me there.
Yeah. That was what happened. That's what made the Mon Cala dangerous. They weren't, not because they were good in the water, because they made excellent spacecraft in the end.
Yeah. What was Zeb's race? What were they called?
What were
Lasats.
they called? Lasats, yeah.
Do you think they were destroyed because they could have stood some sort of chance?
From what I understood, because that was Agent Callus that really led to their...
Estunked them, you were going to say.
Extinct? That led to their believed extinction. They were not extinct.
No.
But I don't think... I guess we don't know much about them in the Clone Wars era.
No. We know that they are pretty good with technology, because they made the... What is the weapon called? Like the blaster and then also the cool staff.
It's like an honor guard staff. Yeah.
I feel like they were pretty technologically
staff.
advanced. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So who knows what they could have had?
They were, advanced enough.
That's all I could say.
The Wookiees were fairly strong too.
They had their own army.
Yeah, them getting kind of hurt was...
They're an ally that we cannot afford to lose.
Right, they were hurt like right at the end of the war too. Like they almost got away, but then it's like, no, the war's coming. Got to get every planet. What other groups? Yeah.
Let's move on.
Okay.
I think we did it. I think we said all the ones that are obvious.
Possibly the most important of all the events that happened in the Clone Wars. What do you think is the most important event? What do you think this event is that I'm about to say?
The obvious answer would be, it's not the Jedi way. It's like, he's too dangerous to be kept alive.
No, I'm talking about pre-Revenge of the Sith event. Yeah, I'm saying it's during the Clone Wars.
During the Clone Wars, like the animated show.
Yes.
Are you going to say Five's death?
We could get into that. That wasn't what I was going to mention, but the discovery of Order 66 could have been important, but it didn't go anywhere for them, obviously.
Literally, Five's almost just ruined all of the Emperor.
He almost did. But he's a clone. So.
I don't know what you mean by that, Kenny.
Clones aren't great.
Clones are pretty good. Have you seen Bad Batch? Have you seen the new show?
I like an individual clone. I don't like clones. You know what I mean?
They're our friends. We can't kill them. We'll just crash the Star Destroyer.
Let's
Kill
crash
them all.
the Star Destroyer. It was Maul that crashed the Star
Yeah, to be fair.
To be fair. No, Joey, it's obviously the seizing control of the banking system. It's the most important event during the Clone Wars, where Rush Clovis became the head of the banking clan for a moment, as this sort of under the instruction of Dooku, and then the Republic invades the neutral system in order to take control of the banks. So now they have control of the economic system of the galaxy. Obviously, the most important thing.
I looked down on the ground there for a sec. I know you guys can't see that, but I hope just my silence expressed.
You disagree? That's
I was like, maybe Count Dooku's death, maybe.
No, that's Revenge of the Sith, Joey. But Joey, that I bet that also allowed them, because in Bad Batch, right? They say Tarkin says, "Oh, the debts that you had on the Republic, they don't matter."
Maybe Anakin's
because the
mother's
Empire
death?
is different. The Empire is a different entity.
Maybe Anakin's mother.
Nah,
dying.
it's the banks. It's the banks. Yeah, it's the banks. Because that also allows the Empire to dissolve their debt. The debts that the Republic had by saying, "Oh, we're the Empire," and nobody challenges that. the banks don't challenge that because they're like, oh, well, I guess you own us, so just say okay. No.
You know what? If the Force wants the Emperor to win, then the Emperor's gonna win.
It's true.
That is this entire podcast episode, isn't it? We should just start off inside that.
It's true, yeah.
Watch our
but we're
first
talking
episode.
about the events in which the Force allowed the Emperor to win.
How the Force manipulated the galaxy to let him win.
So yeah, we talked about Maul and the Shadow Collective. That was next on my list. And then there's the attempted arrest of Palpatine in Order 66. The Jedi are destroyed by the clone army because they all have chips in their heads, and Anakin Skywalker kills the Separatist leaders. He kills Wat Tambor that's trying to dodge at the table. I always imagine whenever Anakin opens that door and you see the Techno Union Wat Tambor on the far end of some table. That I just imagine them. They're doing that thing where, like, are you gonna go this way? Like they're like, just for like a second. That happens. Yeah. You have Darth Vader. Anakin is Darth Vader at this point. He's oh, which way are you going? Just awesome. I don't know. What other Revenge of the Sith important? I guess would be in
the
terms
whole
of
movie's important.
in terms of Fall of the Republic. Like, is there any specific?
We skipped over
political
almost
events?
every Anakin moment, but we'll ignore that for now.
No, we're not talking about character moments, okay?
Oh my gosh.
We're talking about overarching.
This is a terrible episode. Sorry, viewers.
We're talking about
I advised
overarching.
against this. I knew there would be too much, and then we cut out some of the most important stuff. I'm so sorry.
We're talking about overarching political and military events. We're not talking about personal character moments. Do you want to do another hour?
No. I want to make this episode 30 minutes. Oh my god.
Well, we're past that.
Look, the tragedy of Darth Plagueis. But that's a character moment, so we should talk about.
That's not. Yeah, nothing happens with that's seducing Anakin to the dark side. Yeah. I would say in a part of this, it's Anakin turning to the dark side. I'd almost have an entirely other episode on everything that led to Anakin turning to the dark side. That'd be like a different thing. It would be Fall of Anakin Skywalker.
You know what? You're right. We're not a Star Trek podcast. We're asked to get revealed as a Star Wars only podcast. This is too much. This is just too much.
Anything else you want to talk about on this? We're also recording this early.
Yes.
Because we have stuff this weekend.
I feel like we Ahsoka.
What about her?
She could have been something that helped stop the Emperor.
Do you think if she's... I guess you could put in Ahsoka's expulsion from the Jedi Order. Yeah. If she stayed in, would it have helped Anakin out? Maybe.
Yes.
But...
I mean, you mean Anakin stay in the Jedi Order? No. Anakin would not have... It would have made him only more evil, I would say.
If Ahsoka stayed with the Jedi?
Yes.
I disagree.
Because that would have just been another loved one that he would have wanted to use the midichlorians to help create life and help try to protect.
But what was it? There was a part of it where what was it? Obi-Wan wanted Ahsoka to talk with Anakin about whatever his feelings were, right? And I think it was also insinuated that if she did, that would have helped him deal with things, but she never did. If she was a Jedi, maybe she would have. She would have been around for him to lean on a bit more. So, yeah, Ahsoka's pretty selfish.
Ahsoka, doom the universe. Up there with R2-D2 and Jar Jar Binks. Doom the Star Wars universe.
I would never say that. Or to doom the universe.
Well, let me tell you, if he was the only... If all the droids got blasted off the ship, I can't speak.
Who's really at fault is whoever installed those damn force field generators in that hallway.
Yeah, that
prevented Obi-Wan from saving Qui-Gon.
What if Qui-Gon just stayed back a little bit?
Just
Right? Like, what if he,
I
like,
don't know.
you know what? I'm not going to advance. I'm going to wait for my apprentice to move up forward with me.
Interesting. Are you saying Qui-Gon was too arrogant to hold back for reinforcements?
Yeah, right? He was too cocky.
Oh, that's an interesting point. I never thought about that. Yeah, I don't know.
A lot of these Jedi never have fought a Sith before, ever.
It's true. They might have fought dark side users,
Yeah.
but no. They say that there hasn't been a Sith for
No.
who knows how many hundreds of
so
years.
easily the strongest threat that maybe he got overly cocky. Maybe he was like, you know what? This person
Like,
has
Sith, let's go get him!
yeah. Liam Neeson, jump the gun. Slow down, Neeson.
Slow down, Qui-Gon. Slow down. Maybe take a breath.
Yep.
Wait till you have 2 sabers against him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Qui-Gon tuned the Star Wars universe up there with Ahsoka Tano, R2-D2, and Jar Jar Binks.
It's not R2's fault. It's whoever put those damn force fields in that hallway that slowed down Obi-Wan.
Kamino. The entire planet Kamino.
Entire
Also
planet
doomed.
Camino. Well,
What did they have to gain? Just money, I guess?
yeah, they thought that they would just be making clones forever. And like, we'll make clones forever, and they'll be our army until they realize,
so dumb.
they'll just use real people. Oh, because that's cheaper,
Yeah.
you know.
Excited to see where that goes in Bad Batch.
Because yeah, clones really aren't viable when you're not at war. I don't think a clone army is viable.
No, it's too expensive.
It's not
Once when a
viable.
war starts up again, then you can start buying some more clones.
Yeah.
But until then...
Even as elite forces, right?
Yeah. Until then, you're just wasting money.
Yeah. Because clones, they're good. They're good at their jobs,
Yeah.
but I would imagine they're expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And they are almost overly qualified just to police things.
Yeah. Not for, like, normal civil disputes.
Right. That a stormtrooper would be used
Yes.
for. But once you put a stormtrooper into the position that a clone trooper was supposed to be in, a stormtrooper is not prepared for that.
No.
Generally.
No.
That's when you put in the clones.
What's his name from Phantom Menace? Just the one normal officer dude.
Who, Panaka, I think it
Maybe.
was? I think we called him Captain Pancake in the Lego game.
Yes!
When we were
Yes!
when we were 9 years old.
I remember that. Lego Star Wars: A Complete Saga.
And that's how I remember his name. It's actually Panaka.
Not Pancake.
Pancake.
You know, for the podcast, that's how we call him. It's Captain Pancake.
Because we also didn't
What-
know how
whatever
to
happened to
say.
him?
We also didn't know how to say Mos Eisley. We were like Mos Eisley.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Then Dad was like, "Just call it the Cantina." It's like, oh, we can say that. Yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Pancake. Captain Pancake, not Mr. Pancake. Mr. Pancake is a restaurant.
It's a restaurant. Okay, what about it?
Where did he go?
He probably still was guarding the Queen. I
What?
always think of it like he was in charge of guarding the Queen, and then Eye Patch Guy was in charge of the Senators.
What if he shows up in Bad Batch? Hey, did you see what leaked?
What?
They just confirmed that Captain Pancake is going to show up in the Mandalorian.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
He's going to be real old.
Real old.
But hey, Captain Rex is still alive, so he probably is, right?
It's weird. Real weird.
Captain Pancake, and also Captain Cupcake. Should you ID people for getting a cupcake?
All right.
I think you should, because not just seniors are getting the cupcakes.
We're at 56 minutes. I think you want to be done right now.
Yes, I'm ready to wrap things up. But keep my cupcake bit in.
Yeah, we'll get into our upcoming podcast news, right? What's our next topic that we wanted to do?
We're talking about that one's very much in the air. We're talking about Superman.
We were talking about a general superhero topic, whether it's because Loki's coming out this next week, right? We could review Loki if we wanted to.
I'm not a fan. I want to wait until the whole show's on.
Yeah, what we could do is review the first episode and then talk about just Loki, go through the movies that he's been in, and our opinions on that. Otherwise, you were talking about you wanted to go through movies that aren't franchises.
Yeah, one-offs.
Right. Well, I'm gonna say movies without franchises.
I wouldn't say that. Just say one-off movies.
What do you mean one-off? That
Should
doesn't
they get
mean
sequels?
anything.
Should we keep them how they are? Should we
I know. Well, we would
just just talk about them. Favorite one-shots. I feel like a lot of them are gonna be.
They're not one-shots. They're just movies.
One-off movies.
They're just movies. You don't call them a one-shot movie. It's just a movie.
Yeah.
What?
Whatever.
We were talking about, because we've been watching Superman and Lois a lot, but I think we want to save that until that season's over.
Yeah, we'll save our Superman topic, I think, until that's over.
Yeah.
It's almost done.
Bad Batch. Do we know how many episodes of Bad Batch there are?
No. I bet it's gonna go on until maybe like.
There's not gonna be 20 episodes of Bad Batch.
No.
Has
I
to
bet
be
it's gonna be done in June.
Yeah, we'll see. But definitely not this next week. So yeah, I guess we're not too sure then what our next topic will be.
We'll think of it, right?
Yeah.
We'll talk about. You know what? I was gonna make a dumb joke about the cupcakes again. I you know what? I spare you. It was a good bit because I'm tying it back to the beginning of the episode.
What a terrible episode.
Viewers, yeah, this has been awful. We'll get more views than our Star Trek one, hopefully.
I enjoyed that episode.
That was better than this
I
one.
enjoyed talking about that.
But people don't like Star Trek. We're losing views just talking about the Star Trek episode.
You guys should still watch these. Let's have another why you should watch Star Trek Deep Space Nine episode.
Why did you watch Star Trek Voyager?
I wouldn't even do that episode.
I would. I like Voyager.
You have to convince me to watch Voyager.
Stop, we're losing fans. Let's move on.
So yeah, are we done? Do you have any other topic ideas you want to do in the future?
I got nothing.
Yeah.
We could talk about Spider-Man.
Yeah. We also still want to do Dune at some point.
Yeah.
I have to read that book. I've been procrastinating reading that book even more.
I bet in the prototype first episode for us, I bet you were talking about needing to read Dune.
Yeah, I'm sure
I think, you know what?
So I was reading it last summer.
In like 50 episodes from now, can somebody please just I need to finish Dune, guys. I gotta finish Dune.
No.
I've been procrastinating, and it'll be like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen Dune. And just all the way up until the movie comes out.
I'm gonna finish it before the movie comes out. We're not gonna have 50 episodes before the movie comes out.
How many episodes do you think we're gonna get?
We'll have maybe 20.
Alright, 20 episodes. In 20 episodes, guys, get a good compilation going of I need to read Dune.
You think we're gonna have fans that are making compilations?
Oh yeah, we would.
I don't know.
In 20 episodes from now, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. The Dune fan base and saying, "Oh my gosh, are you done with Dune yet?" It's gonna be like 5 years, and you're like, "Are you done with Dune?" And I'm like, "No, I've been procrastinating it." It's like the movie already came out, and I'm like, "I know, but I will read it." It's gonna. You know what? When the movie Dune comes out, you're gonna give a review. Okay.
A review of what? The book?
The book as well. So you gotta finish the book.
We're gonna talk about the book when we do our what is it? Our like update on Dune. We're gonna do an update. Like we're gonna watch the David Lynch movie. Should we also watch the sci-fi miniseries? No. I've had requests to watch that we should really watch that.
I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll watch the movie and we'll see what
It's a good way to watch it.
Like. The series?
Yeah.
It's sci-fi, so I'm wondering if it's on the app. We could watch that.
But then, if we really want to download the app, then why not just watch Return Starbuck?
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Fast and Lightspeed podcast. Check us out on Twitter, where we will be posting news and info about the show. We post whenever I post a new episode on YouTube, along with our link there. And also more ways to listen to more episodes. This has been your Captain Kenny with my XO.
Joey.
And this has been the Faster Than Lightspeed podcast.